Hello everyone, welcome back to the TechArt Learning Hub. I'm Preeti Bodeti and today I'll walk you through how we can migrate an EC2 instance that resides in AWS to the GCP using Migrate to virtual machines. Before we move on to the implementation process, let me tell you all what Migrate to virtual machine is. The Migrate to virtual machine makes the migration process simple, easy, safe, and reliable. Without this service, we would have to manually create a new virtual machine in the GCP, and then we have to reconfigure the applications. We need to copy the disk, we have to reinstall the operating system. So, all of this has to be made manually, which is totally cumbersome. So, Migrate to Virtual Machine Service automates all of this. Now, let me explain y'all how this entire migration process goes. We are moving a running EC2 instance from the AWS cloud to the GCP, and this is done in a replicated and automated way using the Migrate to Virtual Machines. Under this service, we have four main phases: discovery, replication, test clone, and final cutover. Under the discovery phase, we'll be creating a source in the migrate to VM with the help of an IAM user, thereby performing authentication, and via that, the GCP will discover the running EC2 instance in AWS. I'll just show you all how we'll do the source and all the authentication process in the hands-on later. And next, coming on to the replication phase, under this phase the VM's disk and data will be continuously synced from AWS to the GCP. And then moving on is the test clone. Test clone, it means like we'll clone a VM instance for testing, where we'll validate the application and all the configuration of the VM instance that has been created in GCP. Once all of the testing has been successful, then we'll move on to the final cutover phase, where the running EC2 instance in the AWS will face a minimum downtime and the final migration will be made. This is the entire process of the migration, and the new virtual machine instance will be created in the GCP, which will have the same configurations of the EC2 instance that was in the AWS cloud. Now we are in the AWS console, and let's start in creating the instance in AWS. So I'll just create a Linux server and we will just create a small HTML page, and we will launch that page and check whether it's running, and then we will move on to the migration. So here is the instances. I'll just launch an instance, and I'll just give it as migrate instance demo, and I'll use Ubuntu, and we'll leave the machine image as is, and the instance type, let's go with micro, and then we'll create a new key pair, and I will say it as new key migrate, and create the key pair. And moving on, we will just go to the create security group, and I will do allow SSH, allow HTTP, and we leave the storage as is. So let's launch the instance, and once the instance has been configured successfully, we will connect to it, we'll install the Apache, and we will run a small HTML page. So the instance has been created. So now let's connect to the instance. So I'll just click connect, and then we will go with, and now we will start in. Okay, then sudo apt install Apache 2-y. Okay, then we will go with sudo rm-f/var/u/html/index.html. We will just remove this default page and we will create a new one. So sudo nano/var/www/html/index.html. So here I will just put a small HTML page and we will check whether we could launch this page. So I'll just save this. Sorry. Okay, now what we will do is we will just ping this external IP, the public IP. So I'll just hit a new tab and I'll just give this page, and if you can see, we could see the basic HTML page. We could launch it. Now what we will be doing is we will migrate this same instance, like we will do the replication in the GCP with the same configurations we will be having. All this will be automatically moved. We will not be manually again selecting the instance type, selecting the OS, and again giving some configurations and all that stuff. No need to install the Apache and all that. All that has been handled by this service called Migrate to Virtual Machine. Now in this migrate to VM, if you can see here, we have add source, and we will just create a source with the AWS, and in this we will just fill in the name, the GCP region we want the new instance to be created. Okay, right now I'll not be filling, and then the AWS region is the instance that has been resided in that AWS platform. We will give that location, and the access key ID and the secret access key. This is what I am telling earlier. So the access key ID and the secret access key will be generated in the AWS. So basically we will create a policy in the AWS cloud, and we will give some set of permissions, and we will assign these permissions to a role which we will create in the AWS too. And then we will generate some access key, and using those credentials we will authenticate the external service, which is the GCP. It will hold on to these access keys, and this will get authenticated to the AWS platform, where it will discover the AWS EC2 instance that has been created and is running. So now let's move on to creating the access keys, and we'll come over here again to create the source. Okay, so moving on to the AWS, so let's go to the IAM, and in the IAM we will go to the policies here, if you can see at the left side. So we will go to the policies, and I just need to copy the permissions that was in the document. I'll just mention it in the description, so you all can check it out. So I'm just finding out here. Okay, let me just copy this link so even y'all can see the document. Yeah, so here is the permissions, the set of permissions I was telling. So I'll just copy this JSON file, and now I'll go to the policies. Oh, sorry. And here I'll just hit create policy, and then we will go for the JSON, and I'll just remove this entire thing and add the new set of permissions that we've copied, and I'll hit next. Let's give the policy name as I've already done. So we'll put migrate policy, and then we'll just hit create policy. So let's see if we have, yeah, we do have the policy created. So let's move on to creating the user. So I'll just create a user with name as migrate user, and we'll go to next. And here we will have attach policies directly. So we'll opt for this option and we will search for the policy we've created earlier. So I'll just select it and hit next. So now we will just create the user. Let me hit cancel for now. And now in this migrate user, we will go to the security credentials, and then here if you can see we have the access key. So we will create the access key and we will use the third party application. So we will use this service and we'll hit confirmation and go to the next. Description tag value, no, it's not essential, so we'll just create it. So if you can see we have the access key generated and also the secret access key. We will use both of these credentials in the GCP source. So we'll go to the GCP. So we will hit add source and add AWS source. I'll give the name as migration from AWS to GCP, and the GCP region I will select US Central 1. Yep. And the AWS region, we need to go to the AWS and just check where this EC2. Okay, let me just copy this. I'll just copy this secret key and access key, and we will go to the EC2 instance and then instances. We will check it's US East 1. So let's go to the GCP and we will give US East 1. Sorry. Yeah. And let's give the access key ID. So yeah, and the secret access key as well. And we leave the rest as is and hit create. Now this process takes some time. It's not very fast. From this phase in the discovery takes a lot of time, and the replication takes a lot more time, and for each phase it takes almost like 10 minutes and also more than that. So we will just pause here and again we'll resume it once we've discovered the instance. Okay, now the discovery has been done. If you can see here the migrate instance demo that we created in the AWS, we could discover it in here in the GCP. So the discovery is done successfully. So now what we are going to do is we'll just select this instance that we discovered and we will move on to the next phase, which is replication. So add migrations of the selected VMs. So we'll do the VM migration and I'll do confirm. So this is been migrating. So we'll go to the migrate VMs tab, and here we will just edit the target details. So I'll just give an instance name because here is just replicating with the same configurations as that of the EC2 that has been discovered. So we will give some instance name that will be in the GCP. So I'll just create as migrated instance demo, and I'll give the project, and the zone we will go for A, and in the machine configuration we will go with E2. Yeah, and the machine type will go with the micro. On host maintenance, we'll migrate VM instance and we'll put it as on. And in the networking, we'll set everything to default. Subnetwork also to the default, ephemeral. Okay, and I'll hit save. So these will be the details, I mean the configurations when we will create this instance, like when we'll perform this replication. So now we will do the replication. So I'll just click start replication. This will take a lot of time, like almost for about 15 minutes, I guess. That's my guess to the minimum. So once this replication will be done, we will go for the test clone. So we'll clone this instance that we've configured right now, and where all the data will be synced in here from the AWS to the GCP, and we will test its validation. Like we'll check whether it could launch the HTML template. So once it launches in the test clone and once the validation has been successful, we'll just do the cutover. So the AWS instance will stop running and we can resume everything here in the GCP cloud. So the replication is successful, it's active, if you can see here. So now since we have already edited the target details, we will directly move on to the test clone. So we will just select the instance that's been replicated and we will hit test clone. So we'll go for the confirmation and that's it. So if you go for the instance, and if you go for the test clone, see it's just preparing the VM just, and it will get instantiated, and then we can check whether the HTML page of the EC2 instance, what it has been, whether we could see that page or not. We'll just check its performance. I'm guessing this will finish a bit faster, so I'm just not yeah, this test clone job has completed. So let's go to the VM instances. Yeah, if you can see, I have created in the target details as migrate instance demo and US Central 1A. These are all the configurations that we made. Let's just check the details. So if you can see, this is the zone we've selected, and if you go for the instance, I mean machine type, we have selected E2 micro. So that is all, and if you can see here, the HTML page that we've created in the EC2 instance, that will not be triggered in here. The reason is we haven't enabled the firewall rules, they are in off. So let's enable them. So we'll go with the edit, and if you can see, the network is with the default. So that is all. So now let's edit the instance and then let's turn it on. So I'll just say allow HTTP and I'll hit save. Yeah. Now let's go and hit the external IP and see whether we could launch the page. See, have you all seen the same page we could see in the EC2 instance, and we could launch it in here. So here it's up and running, and also in the AWS, if you see, if I just again hit this URL, the public IP address, and okay, let me hit it again. If you see, it's running in the AWS cloud and also in the GCP cloud. It's just the same, and we haven't reconfigured anything like how we did in the AWS. We haven't installed, we haven't created that HTML template, we haven't done anything. Everything has been handled by the Migrate for VM. So that's how simple and easy this is. The service has really made the process so easy, and it's so good. So now what we will be doing is the last phase, which is the cutover. So as you can see in here, it's really running well in the AWS. If we hit this public IP, now what we are going to do is we'll go and perform the final cutover and again check this application in the AWS. So we are completely moving to GCP. This is the cutover phase. So let's go to the migrate to VM service and go for the migrate VMs, and I'll just edit the target details here. So I'll just give the name just to see the test clone and the after cutover VM. So migrate instance demo after cutover I will write. Okay, and we'll leave the details, other details same. So I'll hit save, and now we will go and go for the cutover. So I'll just go and click cutover and hit confirm. So once the cutover will be completed, we will again check the instance in the GCP, and we'll also check whether the AWS instance is running or not. So the cutover has been successful. If you can see the replication status, it's cutover. So now we will just go to the VM instances and we'll see the cutover instance is great. Yeah, if you can see migrate instance demo after cutover. So the same like the previous VM, we need to enable the firewall. So I'll just hit edit and we'll just enable. So allow HTTP and save. So once it gets saved, we'll just go to the AWS, and this is the page that we keep getting because the EC2 instance has been running, and we'll just hit refresh and see whether this is working fine or not, because we've done the final migration. Okay, let's see, it's just running. Let's see. Now we'll just go to the GCP, and if you see, it just got edited. So I'll just hit the external IP and let's see whether we could see the HTML. Yes, and if you can see, it's working properly fine and well. And coming to the AWS EC2 instance, if you just hit this, I think let's go to, okay, this is GCP. I'll just hit refresh. Yes, and if you can see here, the migrate instance demo that we've created, it has been stopped. The instance state is it's been stopped because we have done the final cutover. So it's no longer going to serve, and the entire application that's been on the server will be running in the GCP cloud. This is all about the migrate to virtual machine, where we perform the migration process from the AWS cloud to the GCP. I hope this video helped you understand about the migration process from cloud to cloud using the migrate to virtual machine. If you found this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more cloud tutorial videos. See you in the next tutorial.